it, not with your family, okay? And completely focused on today's grooming school, okay? Now I cannot get a thumbs up from you guys, but I hope you all are, doing what I'm requesting you all. I hope you all have water with you, a book and a pen ready with you, because trust me, guys, today's topic is very important. Okay, and if you guys can understand this topic and implement this topic, as speaker is going to discuss so many things with us. Trust me, your business will go skyrocket. Okay, so perfect. Now, let me introduce you to the speaker. Now, I'm so happy, so excited, so blessed, and I always wanted, a chance to, bring this person in front of, more than 10, 15,000 people. I don't know where to start from, but yeah, let me just quickly give you a background, where he come from. So as per his profession and degree, he's also an engineer, okay, graduated long back. And he did job for some time, but very less time because he was very clear that he don't want to be in the jobby world for long. And he entered the field of entrepreneurship before this business only. Okay, so he was the co-founder of a startup, by Sahaj Consulting, and he was doing exceptionally well. Trust me, guys, he's a person like that from the beginning, not coming after coming into the business. His work ethics are, unbelievable. You guys have no idea. When you work on ground with him, at times looking at his schedule, you get irritated that how can somebody work like him? At times he's a machine, he's a robot, he's not a human being. Okay. Now, if I want to tell you few of his achievements, his big accolades in his past, I hope majority of you have heard about Toastmasters. I know a lot of you these days, you start attending Toastmasters, to get, hands-on, and expose yourself. But this person has done something else in Toastmasters, okay? If you know the highest leadership level, like in our business, we have leadership levels. There's something called as Distinguished Toastmaster Accolade, which is in Toastmasters. And so far, from 1927 till date, only 600 people have made it to the top. And the speaker today is one of them, right? Next, when I came to know about this accolade for the first time, I was like, wow, for impromptu speaking. You get my point? So, Toastmaster Limca Book of Records. And after all this, he came into business, in 2015. It's been close to 5 years for him. But in this 5 years, he has done, so many things. He has achieved so many things. We all know about Elite Club. He has been qualified for Elite Club. We all know about Club Velocity multiple times, not one time. He has maxed out already in less than 3 years in this business and multiple times. Okay. Now, let me tell you a little bit something personal, with respect to me about this person. When I started, I would say I am in the business because of him. He was the person who took my plan. He was the person who took my financials, my switch on, my trainings, everything. Okay. Now, he was that working upline for me. He was that coach for me, who made me whatever I am today. Now, few things, which he does in a very different way. Guys, he is a bookworm. The number of books that he reads, at times, we are like, how can you read so much, the knowledge that he has, we call him walking Wikipedia. You get my point? You talk about anything, he knows, numbers, statistics about the world, information, so many things. And that is what used to inspire me, in my first 1 year, that how can this person know so much? And that used to make us feel that we don't know anything. You get my point? And that used to always push us to keep working hard. That kind of a person is. And one more characteristics about this person, is a very stubborn guy in a good way. Why? Because once he decides, he never back down. So he's that person, if he has decided to achieve it, he makes it happen. I remember first time when he decided to make it for Elite Club, he was like, jana hi hai. Club Velocity, jana hi hai. 20 DRs, karna hi hai. So I don't know any time in my last 4 years, whenever, he told that he's going to achieve it, and end of the day, he did not make it. No matter what happens, he'll always make it. Trust me, guys, he's that kind of a person. And trust me, that attitude is taking you to places today. Today he has built markets everywhere. I think today only he opened another market. These days, he sends messages from Australia, South Africa, Germany, Canada, USA. I think Zoom has given him a chance, to build markets everywhere. Today, I think across India, he has markets in, I think, almost all the states. I would say at least 20 states, and countries, 7-8 countries for sure. So it's building business globally, guys. And now the topic for today, correct, I think it's very appropriate for him. Got my point? Because he has done it. He has built organization. He has built verticals. And for doing that and for doing his VRs, this is what the topic is required. You all have attended, this topic in the past, but every speaker has something different to deliver. Okay. And I would request you all, okay, to listen to him because he's going to share his experience, guys, what he did in his last 4 or 5 years, which, got him all the way here. Okay. So I hope all of you are ready. All of you are excited. All of you are all set for next 1.5 hours, glued to your screen to listen to my upline, my coach, my friend, my brother. Okay. And guys, okay, next 1.5 hours, please be 100% focused. So with a lot of excitement, I want all of you to give a huge round of applause for my working upline, Mr. Dixith, PNT. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mulani. Good morning, brothers and sisters. I'm sure all of you guys are rocking and rolling as always. And I take this opportunity to especially thank my referrer, my upline, Raghu Maurya. And I would like to especially thank Rahul Bhai, especially thank AVP Dighi Bhai, especially thank we partner Kavita Di, and especially thank we partner Sachin Bhai. Because only because of them, only because of their vision, we all are existing. And whatever life I'm living, whatever life my team members are living, whatever growth that we are seeing, it is only and only because of our uplines. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all the uplines from the bottom of my heart. And yes, thank you, Mulani, for such an introduction. But I believe I'm just a speck of dust in the entire organization. I have bigger goals to achieve. I have bigger things to achieve. There's so many things right up there. And today's topic, which was given to me, is prospecting. Right? And I'm pretty sure that most of you guys have already listened to great leaders who have come down and who have spoken about prospecting. And I'm sure they have given you a better perspective about prospecting, the importance of prospecting. And whatever I'm going to add is in addition to whatever they have said. I'm just going to add a little to what they have done. I have learned a lot from them. Yes. So let's get into the game directly. So what is prospecting? Yes, I would like to share my journey, but I'll do that in the process. But let me get to the point straight. The agenda of today's meeting is to know about prospecting. What is prospecting? Why is it important to do prospecting? Thirdly, what is the agenda of prospecting? Fourthly, what is the result that you're looking at after prospecting? And last, how are we going to do the prospecting? And let me tell you, in this entire world, the number one high income skill, as per the greatest entrepreneurs around the world, starting from Tony Robbins to Robert Kiyosaki, the legends in their respective field, they all say the number one skill a person has to learn to become very successful in business, it is prospecting. Prospecting is an irreplaceable skill. In whichever industry you are, there is always a demand for people who can create prospects, who can prospect, and who can get the business. Because for any technical industry, any non-technical industry, any FMCG company, any industry for that matter, the business runs only and only when people who go out and get business for them are successful in doing that. And they are the people who are the prospecting team. And in our business as well, we are not taught all the skills that don't help us. We are taught some of the most important skills, which are irreplaceable, even if artificial intelligence comes up, even if automation happens, even if the population grows, even if there is competition out there. Prospecting is always the number one skill which can give money for us and which can generate business all over the world. The people who prospect well are irreplaceable, and their value in the marketplace will always shoot up. It will always touch the zenith, right? And let me define what is prospecting. Prospecting is a methodology which is very beautiful, which is very interesting, which is actually very fun. And it is a methodology of sorting people and also shifting their mindset on the importance of doing something else apart from what they are doing. And also to help them understand, help them shift their mindset to do something really good. in the long run, which is very, very useful. So the bottom line, what is prospecting? Prospecting is a beautiful methodology of sorting people and shifting their mindset so that they can take action to inspire them, to educate them, to better themselves. That's prospecting for you. And next important question, why is prospecting important? Now, prospecting is very important because that is how business happens. And let me also tell you that prospecting is never direct, not just in our business, but in any business on this planet. Prospecting is always indirect because there is a very important science behind it. Because our human mind wants things straight. I repeat, our human minds and our words want things straight. People say, I want it straightforward. I want it straightforward. But never did I see someone taking a decision on things that are given to them straightforward, including feedback. And that's why they have constructive feedback, constructive criticism, indirect methodologies of influencing people. The human brain doesn't work when something is given straight to it. A human brain opens up only when something is given indirectly to it. This is a lock. In order to open it, prospecting is a primary key. And throughout our entire life, we have been prospected and we have been prospecting others. For example, when we were children, right, we never used greeny vegetables. We never used to drink milk, which is good for our body. When we were kids, we never did anything that was useful for our body. So our parents, did they tell you the importance of milk? Did they tell you the importance of broccoli? Did they tell you the importance of kale? Did they tell you the importance of everything? No. When they told the importance, did we have it? No. So what did they do? They opened up the lock here by telling a story of, look at the moon, look at the stars, look at that uncle, look at the dog. And they unlocked and they made sure that the food was given. And that's why we are on nutrition. A human brain works in 4 quadrants. You can imagine, not ESBI though. This is a 4 quadrant, which is called as a Johari's window. I repeat, this quadrant is called as Johari's window. And Johari's window has 4 quadrants, which is about our own awareness. The first quadrant says, I know what I know. The second quadrant says, I know what I don't know. Third quadrant says, I don't know what I know. And fourth quadrant says, I don't know what I don't know. I repeat, the first quadrant is, I know what I know. Second quadrant, I know what I don't know. Third quadrant, I don't know what I know. Fourth quadrant, I don't know what I don't know. Right? Ironically, majority of our human growth lies in I don't know what I don't know quadrant. But majority of them take decisions based on what they know, what they don't know, what they don't know that they know. So as long as we operate from this segment, our growth will always be limited. And as Swami Vivekananda always says, walk into the unknown. Right? Walk into the unknown. And that is what prospecting does. It breaks the guard and it helps people understand the reality. And that is why prospecting is important. And for that matter, even if you go and propose a girl of if you have any time fallen in love, you liked her, did you go and propose her on day 1? What would happen if you go and propose her on day 1? A lot of women say, if you like me, you got to tell me straight. And there are so many of my friends who tried, but they failed. Right? Of course, they will say, it's not that I'm trying to be chauvinistic about women. I'm just giving an example. Please don't take me wrong. So when women said that, you have to be straight, if a man goes and approaches us that, I love you, most of the cases they may not agree. They say that it has to be straight, but subconsciously, they're not there. Right? That's the reason people first become friends, men become friends, and then they slip into good friends, and then they get into best friends, and then they become close friends. And finally, they'll say, I love you. And they accept it, prospecting different steps. Right? So that is how it happens. Right? If a guy says, I love you in Deva, it takes 2-3 years for her to accept him because the moment he appears, doors up. All right. So prospecting is a beautiful way of beating the subconscious mind, opening guard, and reaching the point where it is needed to reach. And similarly for men, if a woman comes and says, I love you, most of the men accept it. But if a woman comes and asks, will you marry me? I doubt. I seriously doubt. Because even they also have to prospect. Yes. So we have been prospecting from our childhood unconsciously. Right? So we have been prospecting our friends to go for a movie. We prospected our friends to play video game. We prospected our friends to go out, and for people who are smokers to smoke, for people who are alcoholics, not alcoholics, but who consume alcohol. We have been prospecting throughout our life without even we knowing it. But when you are doing that prospecting, you made others rich. But here, what we are saying is consciously prospect for their benefit and for the benefit of the world. It is very, very important that we understand that aspect. We are prospecting because we have to change the world. All right. So I'd like to tell only one thing. That's the reason prospecting is very, very important. All these years, we have been prospecting unconsciously. Now it's time to prospect it consciously for a good reason, for the welfare of this planet. Yeah. So many people may ask this question that why is it that we don't go direct? Why don't we ask people about business directly? Why don't we reach out to them directly? Yes, we are warriors, we are this, we are that. Why don't we reach people directly? Why don't we tell people who we are in the first meeting? Let me tell you something. We are talking to a crowd. As Robert Kiyosaki in the book, The Business School, clearly mentions, do not pitch the business directly. Do not pitch the business directly because you'll end up failing. Why? Because our human mind is not something that it is natural. It has been patterned. From childhood, it's been patterned in multiple ways. There are so many reservations, so many restrictions, so many cultural aspects associated with it. You're not dealing with a straight human mind. You're dealing with a mind that is programmed in multiple ways based on the experiences that they had, based on the bad experiences that they had. They have so many perceptions. There's media, there is their family, there is their own experiences, their own attitudes. So it's a very complicated thing. It's a very complicated thing. And majority of the population on this planet never did business. They never did business. Even if they did business, it was a small business. Even if they did a small business, they didn't survive for 5 years. And even if they survived, how many of them made $1 million? It's a question that we have to ask ourselves. So pitching our business directly to a prospect who has never done business is like pitching integration and differentiation for a person who is first class. Do you think he'll be able to understand it? High possibility not, right? So a lot of people say, why don't we discuss business at the first level and clear off the things? Right? It's up to them. Let me tell you, if we have to pitch our business completely from end to end, it's a 22 hours program. The pitch has to happen for 22 hours. I did a calculation, right? If you want to completely justify your business 100% to a prospect, you have to speak end to end of it, which is going to take 22 freaking hours. Now, let me ask you a question. How many prospects who say, I want direct, are so open enough to sit down for 22 hours and know everything about the business? Right? If they want to know everything about the business, they should know about the company first. They should know about each and every product, each and every certification that is associated with it. They have to know about every freaking thing. And more importantly, I should dump the KPMG and FICCI report in front of them, which is hundreds of pages to read for them to understand the business. And they have to go through all the books, they have to go through all the videos, and they have to go through switch on, they have to go through objection handling, they have to understand RSP, they have to understand the different ranks that are associated with it. They have to understand. They have to understand how to do zigzag and max out. They have to understand the leadership level. They have to understand the education. My dear friends, honestly speaking, do you think a 2-hour or 3-hour or a 4-hour discussion with the prospect can do justice to our business? Honestly, I don't think so. If I miss even one point, even if I miss to speak about RSP, which means I'm doing injustice to my business. And we don't have so much time to sit with everyone and explain them for 22 hours. That guy will faint. You'll also faint. Right? That is the reason we have to use a methodology called as prospecting. It is a strategy. A lot of people say, why to apply strategy? Because everything works on strategy on this planet. Everything is a strategy. Everything. There's nothing direct. If you take a look at McDonald's guy, right? His strategy is to attract kids, because when they attract kids, parents will automatically come. A kid will never come alone. He gets parents along, which means parents also have 1+2 offer. If not 1+2, 4+5 offer. We don't know. And why is it that there's a clown sitting in front of the McDonald's, and whenever you open the McDonald's store, why is it that you get the French fry smell? The same goes with Subway. Why is it that it is decorated so beautifully? Strategy. Why is it that movie theaters are on top of a mall? Why not at the bottom? Strategy. Because every weekend people need a reason to go there and check out the mall. Strategy. Right? This world, I believe, as my uplines always say, is not about knowledge. It is about implementation of a knowledge. I'll give an example. Why do we follow this process? Right? We follow info, then we have invitation, and then we have qualifier, And then we have the final business presentation. Why do we follow this process? Because it's a strategy. Because I don't have all the time on the planet to sit with everyone and explain a lot of business for people who are not even qualified. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm sure most of you guys have written competitive exams. Yes. What is the intent of competitive exams? Right? In a limited period of time, how much can you score? Right? Do the competitive exams test your knowledge alone? Or do they test your knowledge along with implementation at a given point in time? True or not? So we all know that it is not a knowledge-based exam. It's a strategy-based exam. It's an implementation-based exam. For example, if you take a look at my entrance exam and I wrote, let it be AIEEE or IIT or even MCET, what are your local tests for that matter? First, what is our agenda? Let's say, for example, there are 160 questions, 80 from math, 40 from physics, 40 from chemistry. For people who don't understand the jargon, that's fine. It's okay. Understand that you have to get maximum marks, right? So what we usually do, we apply a strategy. First, you go to chemistry, finish off all the easy and tough questions because it's easy. And then you come to mathematics, finish off all the easy questions. And then you go to chemistry, finish off all the tough questions so that you can score more. And then you come out to maths and complete all the medium questions, and then go to physics easy questions, and then come back to math tough questions, and then go to physics medium easy questions. Why we follow this process? So that we can get maximum marks in a given period of time. That's what defines you, right? A lot of people who didn't pass IIT fail in another process because it's not about knowledge. It's about implementation and what results can you produce in a stipulated period of time. Yes? All right? So only then you can make it, right? Now, if you don't follow the process and you say, after I solve the first question, only I'll go to the second question. Only after I solve the second question, I'll go to the third question. You'll stuck in second question for the entire 3 hours. Do you think you'll be successful? Do you think the people will come down and ask you, how many did you complete? No, we don't. They only check how much did you score. Similar to that competitive exam. If you're so cautious about competitive exam just for 3 hours, we have a life which is also limited. We have limited time in our life. Now, in that limited period of time, how effectively can you get more signups? How effectively can you get more signups will define how smart we are. Let me tell you, it's not just a test of knowledge, it's a test of knowledge and strategy. We have to follow it 100%. And that's why we have laid out this process called as prospecting, right? The reason why we first give info call is to understand, is there anyone excited? Easy questions. Who asks you, hey, do you have anything? And then we have invitation because we have to make them serious. We don't want people to come down for fun, right? Yeah. And then we have a qualifier. Why? I'm just reiterating all of you guys know it's just for understanding, to bring everyone to the same plane. We have a qualifier. We tell them the requirements that are necessary: time, funds, coachability, and industry constraints. We ask them all this. And only if they're ready, then we'll go ahead and discuss the entire business idea. Why do I do that? Because I can't sit with anyone and everyone and discuss business for 3-4 hours and then give him his time of his life to get it done. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. If I discuss 4 hours of business with every prospect, how much time will I end up spending every day? In a day, I'll be able to touch 4 people. If I work for 16 hours approximately, 4 people. In a month, how many can I touch? Around 120 people. I can touch 120 people in a month. But if I don't do that, and if I use a very smart technique which I apply and implemented, that is called as a qualifier. In a qualifier, in 16 hours, how many people can I reach out? In 16 hours, instead of reaching to 4 people, I reach 16 people. Right? In a month, how many do I reach out? 480 people. Right? As they say in the book, questions are the answers. This is a numbers game. The more numbers that you touch, the more successful you'll become. And this is a smart strategy. Why would I spend my time of 4 hours with a person who's not even qualified? It doesn't make any business sense. Do you think Shah Rukh Khan will sit with a producer who does not have money? Impossible. We have to respect our time. In those 4 hours, I can take a training. I can be with my family because we do not know when we will die. We all are just 2 minutes away from abyss. 2 minutes away from abyss. We don't know. There's a lot of effort we are putting in effort. We got to run faster than ever. We don't know what will happen. Why should I spend my 4 hours with a person who's not even interested, he's not even qualified? That is disrespect to myself and my uplines time and my teammates' time. The funda of business is you had to select people who are qualified. You had to discuss business ideas with people who are qualified. Now, even if you take your college, do you think they'll allow everyone and anyone to sit in the placements? No. They have a qualification, 70% cutoff. No one can come beyond this. No one is willing to waste time. All right, some people will say, I take a loan and come, and if I don't like the idea and I have to go back, I have to pay interest. My dear friend, for you it is some thousands. For me, it is lakhs of rupees. 4 hours I can sit with someone. I can do my own prospecting. I can find a rock star who can create a business for me, which is millions of dollars, or I can be that. I can go and do more prospecting. Why should I waste my time with you? Right? I'm not obliged to share my business opportunity to anyone and everyone. I should like his attitude. I should like his thing. I should like his hard work. I should understand him. I should find the vibe, and he should be ready with the requirements. Or else I do not want to disrespect my time by spending time with someone. As they say, time is money. All right? That's why we follow this process. Because if you calculate the turnover that is happening in my organization, every hour I'm generating few lakhs and spending 4 hours and with someone who's not even ready, I'm wasting that time. There is so much of need in my team. They need my time. I can give them. They can create more business. Right? So there is nothing wrong in not discussing everything with a prospect. Right? So that's why prospecting is very important. Prospecting is an efficient way to save our time. Our plans have created that process to save our time. So please understand that. We do not want to hide anything. We don't want to do anything. We don't want to discuss anything because, the thing as Robert Kiyosaki says in the book Business School, people are not open-minded. They have that thing called as inertia. They cannot adjust to new things very fast. And they cannot adjust the new things very fast. And when they can't adjust the new things very fast, obviously they'll reject it. For example, have you ever listened to A.R. Rahman songs? When you hear it for the first time, you feel weird. What is this? Right? But over a period of time, you start liking it. But unfortunately, A.R. Rahman and his music CDs have time, but we don't have time. And I'll share a small story which I read from the book, The Law of Success. Okay. If you discuss everything openly, what will happen? Right? Law of Success written by Napoleon Hill. He says that one time ago, in 1980s, they were Eskimos in Antarctica. So there was a science expedition from the US who went to the expedition. And there was one guy who was an Eskimo. There was a village and he was staying there. And he was their guide. So he helped them explore Antarctica to the core. They gelled very well. There was a relationship that got established. And then they had to go back. So they went back. And after going back, they wrote a letter to him saying that we were very pleased with your service. We would want you to come down to New York and spend time with us and see around and be our guest. And this guy becomes extremely elated and he goes to New York. The moment he steps into New York in the 1980s, for the first time, he sees railroads. Excuse me. Just a second. So he comes to New York, he sees that there are airplanes, there's skyscrapers, there's everything, and he gets excited. He goes back to the village, and every villager who are rescuers will ask, what happened, what did you see? He says he saw skyscrapers, he saw aeroplanes, he saw railroads, he saw trams, he saw everything. Everyone was shocked. They think, oh my God, he's not a normal being, he's a devil. Let's move away. He's speaking something. Excuse me for a second. Yeah, so message from the translators. Thank you so much. I'll go slowly. All right. Yeah. So all the Eskimos will be shocked. What is this guy saying? What happened to him? Did some evil spirit get into him? They were afraid because it was something new which they never heard about. And when they heard something new, they all isolated him. They all did not give him food. They did not give him shelter. They asked him to abscond. I mean, they boycotted everything about him, and they made sure that he's kicked out of the town, and he died hungry. And they all thought that, oh my God, this is a different beast. And then again, after a few years, the same team comes back for another expedition, and there'll be another guy whom they will hire to take around. So they will be completely pleased with his service, and then they go back, and they give him the invitation. And once they give him the invitation, this guy also goes there, and he says the same thing which the previous guy told. And this guy thinks when he goes back, all the villagers will ask me. If I tell them the same thing, they will also isolate me, and I'll also die out of hunger. So I will tell is exactly Eskimo land there. And he decides that. And when he goes and tells the same thing, then everyone will be satisfied. Now he's a good spirit, and they allow him inside. So the moral of the story is, we human beings are not open. As per the book, Napoleon Hill says, he says, if there is one thing that we have to pray to God, that thing is to have an open mind. I repeat, if there's one thing that we have to pray to God, that is to have an open mind, right? So let me tell you, we are dealing with people who are not open-minded people. They say they're open-minded, but they're not. If they were open-minded, they would have been as big as Bill Gates, they would have been as big as Jeff Bezos, because they're open-minded to look at more opportunities and grow on them, right? If anyone says my prospect is open-minded, I usually do not believe it. Because if he has open-minded, I've been somewhere else in life. So we all are not open-minded. We're growing, we're moving. And prospecting is such a beautiful phenomenon that it opens up our possibilities. It opens up. And why is there a sense of urgency? It is very important that we have a sense of urgency because, as Dato Sri, legend in his way, he says in the book, 2 Minutes from the Abyss, he says, the only difference between the top 1% on this planet and the remaining 99% is sense of urgency. Sense of urgency. As businessmen, there is no tomorrow for us, there is only now. We have to sign up now. Only then we'll be a very good businessman who is valuable in terms of business. All right. So please follow the process. If you follow the strategy, you'll attain success faster. If you don't follow the strategy, you delay your success. Right. I hope I have given you an insight about why do we prospect like this? Why is it indirect? Because human beings are indirect. They say they are direct, but we all are hypocrites. We have to agree with it. All right. So that is something that we have to come into consensus with. Now let's talk about another important thing. What is the agenda of prospecting is basically shift his mind to make him more open about the opportunities available. Because we know what's happening in the world. I'll come to that point later. And it becomes a responsibility to share a great opportunity with each and every one of them. And now, what is the net result that we have to look out of prospecting? The purpose of prospecting, the net result that we're looking at is a person coming with a curious and an open mind to seek something. I'll repeat, the net result that we are looking at after prospecting is a person coming onto the table to listen to the idea with curiosity, with an open-minded attitude. That is the agenda of prospecting. Only if we are able to do that, we will succeed. Yes, I hope I have cleared why prospecting is important and I have made you understand what is prospecting. Now, let's get into another important aspect about why should we prospect people with so much intensity, in the sense fast, and why should we even share a business opportunity? So can I speak a little? Can I speak some facts and figures of this world today? Right. Today, the world is in a freaking crisis. Freaking crisis. We cannot even understand what's happening. Rahul Bhai always shares those links. When I look at them, shivers run through my spine about what's happening in the world. But we are so thankful to Qnet that we are still growing. We're still growing. Now let me tell you what's happening in the world around. All right. So I'm sure you know who is controlling the world. The banks are controlling the world. The federal bank is controlling the entire world. And they are the reason for recessions, they are the reason for depressions to be so long. And this entire freaking system of this world is created in a way where only the top 3%ers will benefit. That's the reality of life. That's how the world is today. And let me tell you, every 8 to 10 years, there will be a recession. Every 80 to 90 years, there will be depression, because that is how the model works. And we are more or less in that state. If not now, 10 years down the line, we have to. US is in a debt of $27 freaking trillion. The GDP of US is $21 trillion. GDP is nothing but income of their country. When the debt is more than income, what will happen? Collapse will happen. It's about to happen, right? And most of the people who are in their 45s and 50s today, they're literally scared. They're literally scared to the nth level. You know why? They either have diabetics, they either have BP, they either have issues, they either have problems with the body, their immune system is down, the lung system is down, and one coronavirus has been a nightmare for all of them. One freaking coronavirus is a nightmare for all of them. Can you believe it? I heard a news from one of our team members that their cousin auntie got corona. She was 62 years old. Her own actor, she is no more. In 2 days, she's no more. It's no more. Right? As it is said in the book Parable of Pipeline, right? Always diversify Always create multiple streams of income. Do not take life for granted. Do not take anything for granted. To take anything for granted in the parable of the pipeline, the way his father lost his business to a politician in that country. A lot of people have lost business because of coronavirus. It can be a politician, it can be coronavirus, it can be war, it can be anything. It can be anything. And it becomes a responsibility to save as many people as possible with this business. That is why it's important to prospect. That is why it is important to prospect. We want to save people. How many of you know that in India, every month, close to 10 lakh youngsters enter the market space for work? Every month, 10 lakh youngsters into the market space for work. Are 10 lakh jobs being created? Please tell me. Are 10 lakhs jobs being created every month? A question to ask ourselves. No, they're not. Then where will all these people go? God knows. Right? And because of this overpopulation and high rise of inflation, we are paying the price. You know why? 10 years ago, the cost of 1 liter of milk was 14 rupees. Today, it is 50 rupees. 10 years ago, the cost of education for a child in a decent school was 50,000. The same school charges more than 2 lakhs today. 10 years ago, a decent flat in a decent locality, which is a 2-bedroom flat, was available to the consumers at around 50 lakhs. Today, the same flat costs 1.3 CR. But unfortunately, 10 years ago, the salary that most of you guys are making today is the same as the person who was earning 10 years ago at your level. Maybe a few lakhs here and there. Why is this happening? When everything in life, the price of everything is quadrupling, why is it that our salaries are not quadrupling? Because population, you can be easily replaced, whatever job you may be. And a lot of people say, I want to become a CEO of a company. You know, as for Robert Kiyosaki, he says one thing very clearly. To become a CEO of a company, a probability of a person is hardly 0.02%. The probability of a person is 0.02%. And may I know what's your probability? This is what I ask myself. I have no right to ask. I don't even know whether I'm eligible to ask this question, but these are the questions that I ask myself. It's healthy possibility of not happening, right? And even if you become a CEO of a company, our shelf life is hardly for 8 to 10 years in the best case. And after 8 to 10 years, does our lifestyle go up or does our lifestyle dwindle? Comes down, right? As they say in parable of pipeline, employment will never take us there. We do not know what's up in store for us. We don't know what's up in store for us, right? Salaries are not growing. Population is growing. As Dato Shri says in Recon, in the next 8 years, 750 million people will enter the workforce worldwide. 750 million people will enter the workforce. What does that mean? That means that even if the entire world keeps their differences aside, join hands together to employ so many people, even then that is not possible. Even then that is not possible. That's a reality of life. As per the World Economic Forum, in the next 8 years, 20 crore Indians will be losing their jobs. Unexpectedly, 14 crore already lost in the unorganized sector of India. And in the next 8 years, automation and artificial intelligence will take up over the entire production unit. Where are we heading to then? What's your option? Right? How can so many people be absorbed into any industry? As Amitabh Kant, the CEO of Niti Aayog, Niti Aayog, for your understanding, is a government organization, which is like an organization of India, and the CEO of Niti Aayog is the CEO of India. To draw a parallel, he says there are only 2 ways that people can create employment or livelihood for people. One is to push manufacturing, which high likely is not going to happen. Second is to push direct selling, because direct selling is the only business on this planet as of today which can absorb over 1 billion freaking people. 1 billion people. That is what we're a part of. We are the part of the future. Automation, artificial intelligences, they will drag away jobs in production, in coding, in everything. A lot of people say, I'll be the person, forget about it. I'm very talented. I'll be the person who will code. I'll be the person who will be doing that. Agreed. You may be a king to it. That's what I say myself. You may be a king to it. But how long can you remain a king in that field? 10 years, I may be at the top, but 11th year, there's a youngster who's working his heart out to be on the top. And that girl replaced you. What about them? What's about it? Right? This is the thing. That's the reason we have to always create something in addition to what we already have. All the people who are 45, 50 here who are literally having nightmares today, they're having them because of only one reason. When they had time, they did not stretch themselves. They're focusing on, work-life balance. They're focusing on, family time. They're focusing on, we have to enjoy. We have to do vacations. Right? All this is a prehistoric mindset, because when people were doing this, who were successful, they were the baby boomers. When baby boomers were there, right, our grandfathers and our fathers' early time, the population was only less. In India, population is hardly 50 to 70 crore. At that point in time, when they had time for family, when they had time for this, when they had time for that, it didn't impact their life. But today, what's the population that we're dealing with? The population that we're dealing with is over 135 crores. 135 crores. When there's so much of population, can we afford to take a break? We cannot. Can you afford to think about family life balance? We cannot. The market will eat us away. That's happening today. When they had time, they're spending time, they're watching TV, they're doing this, they're doing that. They have taken life for granted. When there was time, they did not stretch themselves. And when others were trying to stretch, they made fun out of me. Oh, here comes this guy, here comes that guy. Now today, who's laughing? All the people who are grinding for the past 20 years, 30 years, and they had traded alternatives of income. They are becoming richer now, faster now, right? As Datoshi always says, do things when you don't need them, so that when you need them, you have them. I repeat, do things when you don't need them, because when you need them, you already have them. That's the magic. That's why our uplines always keep pushing us, move forward, move forward. We try our best, at times we don't, but we'll always be there. We'll always fight for it. We'll always do that, right? So let me tell you something. Please take care of your old wolf when you're a young wolf. I repeat, please take care of your old wolf when you're a young wolf. Let's not be grasshoppers, let's be ants. And that is the only way to survive. Today, we don't have the luxury of family time. We don't have the luxury of all these things until and unless we make it. Until and unless we make it, at least max out from 3 tracking centers. That is a benchmark which our uplines have given. Only then you can think of anything else. If not, we will be succumb to pressure. There's, for coronavirus, the entire family has to spend close to 40 lakhs for 4 people. 40 lakhs for 4 people. The deposit is 6 lakhs. How many of them have that kind of cash with them today? It's a very pathetic situation. Jobs are being gone. 18,000 people were taken out of cognizance. 18,000 people who thought jobs were safe. Jobs were said they're not safe, in my opinion. You know why? The riskiest thing a person can ever do in his life. I want you guys to ask a question for yourself. The riskiest thing a person can ever do in his life is to drive a two-wheeler. You know how many people die because of two-wheeler accidents every single hour? In 30 seconds, the entire game changes. 30 seconds is enough to change the entire game. And people are taking such a big risk. And they're okay with it. In my opinion, the second biggest risk a person can ever do in his life is to do a job. Why? Because he's spending the most important period of his life from 20 years to 35 years. That is the critical period of any human's life. That is when the body and the brain are at their prime. They're spending that kind of time in working for someone. And something like this happens, they fire people. But since 15 years of experience, where did it go? Why did we even do that? As we counsel, Amit Suni Bhai says, doing a job is like babysitting someone else's baby. Doing a job is like babysitting someone else's baby. You got to build something which is yours. Because it doesn't matter how much you love the baby is not going to be yours. It's someone else's. It will not come for our rescue when we need it. That is the reason why it's important that we share this opportunity to people. We've got to save as many people as possible. This is the only industry on this planet which can absorb over 1 billion people. 1 billion people. And my heart and my soul is so proud about it. You know why we are proud about this industry? This industry is the first ever industry which made the first ever self-made women millionaire, C.J. Walker, in the year 1957. The first ever self-made women millionaire. Sorry for the year. And this industry is the only industry on the planet which has generated more number of millionaires than any other business on this planet. I take so much pride in it. And today, when most of us prospect, right, when you're taking a call, right, to give an info or to speak about our business, your hands will shake, your body will shake, your entire body vibrates. Oh my God, do I have to call them? Why is that? Why is that? Because there's a very powerful saying in Hindi. Sorry, I do not want to repeat it in Hindi. I do not want to make the life of the translators very difficult. I mean, I don't mean that others have made it, but I'm just telling you. It says, the greatest disease in life is the thinking of what will other people think about you. All right. A lot of you think many of the people in the marketplace have rejected network marketing. A lot of people reject network marketing. They don't accept network marketing. Let me tell you something. The major entities on this planet today are the most rejected entities on the planet. What do you mean by that? If you take a look at Facebook, out of 7.8 billion people on this planet, there are only 2 billion people on Facebook. Which means 5.8 billion people rejected Facebook. For whatever reason it may be. It may be because of lack of internet connection. They are poor, they couldn't afford Facebook. It's their problem, it's not our problem. Majority of people rejected Facebook. Apple, there are only 1 billion people out of 7.8 billion people who are using Apple. Which means 6.8 billion people rejected Apple. Is Apple feeling bad about it? Doesn't matter. Rolex. 95% of the world rejected Rolex. Does it mean that Rolex is not profitable? Right? The number of people who reject a business doesn't define the success of a business. The amount of profit that that business is making will define the profit of the business and the success of the business. For that matter, even if you take a look at religion today, majority of the population rejects Hinduism, majority of the population rejects Islamism, majority of the population rejects, they do not opt for these religions. That is how the world is. That's the reality of life. Right? So please don't look for anyone's acceptance. Do you know what percentage of India saw Bahubali? In a population of 130 crores, the revenue that Bahubali made was just 2,000 crores. Right? 2,000 divided by 130 crores. Right? If 130 crores, even if they spend 10 rupees on it, which is 1,300 crores, they spend 20 rupees on it, it is 2,600 crores, which means the entire India didn't even spend 20 rupees on that movie. Which means maximum of India also rejected Bahubali. So please do not look for everyone's acceptance. It's okay. They cannot understand it. That's perfectly fine. As Robert Kiyosaki says, this business can only be understood by billionaires. Are all of our friends billionaires? They aren't. Are all of them biggies? They aren't. Then why should you even worry about it? Right? So it all comes with one thing. Why we are afraid of people, or why people are not happy to share the news, is because they are afraid, because they have a very low self-image about themselves. Why? Because our culture has brought up like that. Think of, we need some assistance to prove our self-image. For example, if you talk about one person, he is my friend, he works with so-and-so. The next statement is works with so-and-so. Oh, he works with McKinsey, amazing. Oh, he works with this company. Oh, okay. He works with, so you need a validation of a corporate to back you up. I don't understand. Why do we have to have a backup of a corporate to say what is our self-worth? I don't need any backup. I am what I am. I know how critical thinking I am. It's a self-belief about oneself. I don't need a company to validate my talent. I don't need a company to validate how good I am. I don't need a company to validate how fast I'll grow in life. I don't need a company to validate my recognition in society. I validate my own self. Because when people sign up for my business, they're not signing up for Qnet, they're signing up for me. This is my business. I am the brand. That is how I have this self-image. Right? Forget about this business. Any business, you got to take rejections. One of my friend who is an entrepreneur, is struggling for 5 years. He has a business idea. He reached more than 300 investors. Not one invested in him. Not one. How many of us have that mental capacity to go out and do something about it? And if you take a look at Elon Musk, in an interview, he said, it is very easy to get investors on board. Everyone was like, please tell me one phone calls. Just make 1,000 phone calls and you're done. A lot of people say, never lose hope. We will always be millionaires. Take a look at Kentucky Fried Chicken guy. He became a successful millionaire at the age of 64. Let me tell you a short story about him. He started business at the age of 14. He failed in so many businesses, right? And he took 109 rejections to get his first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchisee. After getting that, he sold it off to someone. Kentucky Fried Chicken is not even his own now. It is owned by John Y. Brown, right? So the old man that you see, it is not even his business today. The issue with most of the people is they only look at the top surface of the information. They don't dwell deep into it, right? So rejections are a part and parcel of any business. You had to be ready for it. Ranveer Singh gave so many interviews, so many auditions before he got it. And I believe that every rejection is a process of improving ourselves. It's a